Senator Lambie.
Thank you. The world is finally waking up to the downside of social media, and thank God. I'm glad government's looking at what can be done to protect our kids. But it's not only our kids that are at risk. You know what social media is really good at? It's really good at dividing us. It's all thumbs up or thumbs down, love or hate. It rewards opinions, strong opinions. It encourages us to hate each other. It doesn't reward someone for saying, I don't know what I think about that. I need more time before I decide. And when people are struggling, dividing us is easy. The Scanlon Foundation has been mapping and tracking Australia's social cohesion for nearly 20 years, and they say that we are more divided than ever. The cost of living pressure is creating the most hardship, with 12% reporting skipping meals, 12% struggling to pay rents or mortgages, and 22% saying they don't have enough income for medicines or health care. When people are doing it tough, blaming others and identifying a group to blame is easy. Some would say it's the oldest trick in the book. And when we have global conflicts like the war in Gaza, it's the easiest thing in the world to whip people up to channel their anger at minority groups, at Jews, at Muslims, at migrants. What is harder, what is much harder, is being a leader or a political party that brings Australians together instead of tearing us apart. Since the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel on October the 7th, the Greens have displayed the most despicable examples of leadership I have seen since I have been here. And in my opinion, they have been behaving like the worst examples of social media. I don't think there is any Australians who aren't horrified by the plight of the hostages or the shocking suffering of the Palestinian people. War is awful. It's always awful. It's always the innocents who suffer. Every political and community leader should do everything they can to turn the temperature down, not to light it up. But instead of working productively towards peace, since the Hamas terrorist attack on October the 7th, the Greens have done all they can to whip up division and whip up hate in the community. On October the 18th, just 11 days after the world learnt of the horrific details about the Hamas terrorist attack, children burnt, women raped and hostages taken. The Greens were the only Australian political party that refused to support a federal parliamentary motion condemning the Hamas massacre. In November, a Green senator was happy to be photographed with a protester holding a sign that showed a figure putting in the Israeli flag in a rubbish bin alongside the words, and I quote, "Keep the world clean," end quote. Adam Bant, the leader of the Australian Greens, has posted on his social media that protesters should continue holding the government to account by, and I quote, "marching, calling, blockading," end quote. The Greens like to pitch themselves as a party who stands on principle, a party that likes to portray itself as a party of peace. Instead, they are trying to bring the war here, a party that apparently stands up and fights for the voiceless, but when it comes to Israel, the Greens leave these principles at home. In the days after October the 7th, instead of standing in solidarity with the traumatised Australian Jewish community, the Greens immediately aligned themselves with an ultra-nationalist Palestinian agenda. As Philip Mendes, Professor of the Social Policy and Community Development at Monash University put it, and I quote, "The Greens are progressive except when it comes to the Jews," end quote. Apparently Jews don't count in the Greens' progressive agenda. In this place, we're not allowed to use props, but Green senators often come to this place wearing the kibbutz, a symbol of Palestinian nationalism. The Greens like to claim they are the champions of the welfare state, but they have a large block of senators in this place. But job seeker still hasn't gone up. They haven't suspended standing orders to call attention to Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. They didn't suspend standing orders when Pakistan announced they were bulldozing the homes of 1 million Afghan refugees, driving them back over the border into the arms of the Taliban. Since October the 7th, the Greens have attempted to suspend standing orders or introduce urgency motions on Gaza in the Senate or House of Representatives no less than 20 times. And by the way, most of the motions said nothing about the hostages. These motions add up to nearly 9 hours of wasted time and wasted taxpayers' money. So my question to the Greens is this: do you really think these stunts do anything to bring Australians together? Do you really think it does anything to stop suffering of Palestinians? Of course it doesn't. They are nothing more than stunts. Stunts that they think win them votes. Stunts that the Greens can pump out as video clips across social media in disgrace, and social media clips that whip up community division. Social media clips that encourage the blockading of electoral offices. Electoral offices are there for the most vulnerable in our electorates to seek help. Australians who are coming to their MP offices are seeking help for their health. help for housing and help for their family. But I guess these Greens don't. I don't guess these Australians don't count for the Greens either.
Thank you, Senator